What are the most common mistakes new screenwriters make?
Okay, there's a list, but the most, let's just say the three most common ones that I see are, number one, not enough story. Again, it's that old thing, characters can be wonderful, dialogue can be sparkling and even funny as heck, but if the story lays there just flat as a pancake, that story is not going anywhere. It's a weak story. Number two would be passive central character. That has killed more scripts than just about anything I've ever seen. And weak story and passive central character, they go together. They really go to fit together too. A passive central character is a hero or heroine, you know, the lead down the middle, who doesn't really do anything. And life and the story happen to them. They do not happen to anything or anyone. And that is a one way to put your audience to sleep very, very quickly. Heroes have to be active. The hero is the audience. You build a story so that the hero is, with lots of flaws and everything, fine, yes, make them human, but they have certain qualities, character, of character and of circumstance. They have to be brave. That is absolutely essential. But you can put them in, you know, unfair injury. We care about people who are being unjustly dealt with. They're in a situation of danger. They're funny. They have a sense of humor. That always helps. Loved by other people. There is this kind of list of things you can do to keep characters interesting. That allows us to like them. And once we start seeing the nature of the hero or heroine's major problem and the major impossible task before them, hopefully on about page 6 or 8, we, the audience becomes one person, each of us sitting alone, and we project ourselves, psychologically project ourselves into the hero, and then we're along for the ride. And if that hero doesn't do anything or doesn't want anything, and other people do all this stuff, and all the people that come in, all the secondary characters are the witty, fun, urbane, you know, loquacious, and and joking and funny. They're all the funny characters, while basically your central character is more or less wallpaper. It's dead, and that is related to something else, which is the adversary. When that happens in a script, almost always the problem is there is no adversary, or there is no powerful adversary. Adversary is so critical. People need to work on their adversary until it is. The adversary should be the strongest person in the story. You know, when I was coming up, you say, oh, they have to be equal. They have to be equal in power to the hero. No, they have to be much more powerful than the hero. It has to look, for most of the movie, it has to look like the hero has no bloody way of defeating this adversary or surmounting the problems being presented by this adversary. But they do it. They outthink them, and they out-try them and drive, and they can make it happen. And that's a story with great conflict, with a hero who is doing things, who sucks us in emotionally, that we can ride along happily for the journey. And that's how the good ones work. Which that's probably more than two. I threw in, made that 3 or 4. But the third, I think I would say, is getting it out there too soon.
Okay.
That's what destroys most screenplays. It's hard, you know, writing a screenplay, a feature-length screenplay. Heavens, that's hard, really hard. And it's not necessarily all pleasant undertaking. Labor, it hurts. You tear your hair out, you pound your head against the wall, sometimes literally, and but finally you got a draft. Oh God, I did it. Here it is. Here it is. I'm going to get it out quickly as I can, and that's the time of great danger. You know, you can't just send it out. It is not ready. Guaranteed it is not ready.
Is there really this database of of scripts? So I mean, really, it sounds like, you know, the sort of the medical record database. They have one on scripts too.
Yes.
Like, oh yes, I see Eric Edson. Yes, on this date he sent us this. No, the coverage was horrible or something. I mean,
Yes.
really, this exists?
Well, I mean, I have to confess now, it's been some years since I was in the thick of it, of this, but I don't think a whole lot has really changed except they got more technological. They've gotten better ways to keep track of stuff. Yeah, back then, you had basically one shot, because the person you're sending it to, if you finally get an agent to say, okay, you know, I'll take a look, leave me alone, or if it's a producer or a friend or whatever like that, most often they're not going to read it, they're going to hand it to their reader. And I remember those early on when I was getting phone calls back from producers, and they were obviously reading from notes. They had obviously not read the script themselves. They were working from readers' notes. Okay, but they have their time issues too, and they've got to use their time as best they can. But yeah, if you get a bad report first time in, it is filed. Now it's digitalized, and you never know ultimately, you know, what company becomes joined with what company, and sometimes the people, they just know each other even if they're at different companies.
Sure.
And they did this pass through, and they, you know, sent me over the report, and yes, those reports get disseminated.
What if you changed the name of the script? Let's suppose you started one called Angel's Flight, and then you said, you know what, and this got a pass, and so you decided to change it to Birds of a Feather, and I'm just totally making this stuff up. But and so Birds of a Feather has been looked at, and you've worked on it much more, and you've had more time. But the story is very similar.
I would say my instinct is that you have probably done severe, probably irreparable damage to your career.
To resend something?
Yes.
Okay.
Under a different title.
Wow. Okay.
Because they have the plot. You know, that's one of the things the reader does. They outline the entire plot before they say, you know, whether good, bad, or indifferent. No, I don't do it. Don't just go around changing titles, because I don't know. They don't like it. They don't trust it.
Then they don't trust you.
Yes.
Exactly. So that's the bottom line. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
If you really worked on something, first of all, let time pass. You're not going to go back at them. Oh, I reread it. I've rewritten it, and it's really, really good now, and it's 5 months later, and no, forget it. Put it away. And then when the time comes, you know, if there may be, and what they're looking for in any given year, the wheel keeps turning, and you know, the nature of the material that they're looking for. And then do it honestly. Say, look, you know, I tried this out on you 2-3 years ago. I have been I still believe in the idea, and I've been working on it. I think it's a great deal better. Or you go to somebody who hasn't read it before, because there's always somebody who hasn't read it before, and say, you know, a friend of yours, Nancy or something like that, she read it and she quite liked it. Or find another way, a back door, like maybe the friend, Nancy. But I wouldn't change the title.
So be upfront, play by their rules.
Be upfront.
Because it could hurt you.
You need to be upfront about it. Yeah.
Why do you think people are scared to be upfront?
Because sometimes liars get away with it. We have examples. We have examples.
We do. We don't have to go into them, but yeah, we have plenty.
Sometimes liars get away with it, but people, especially people in this business, I'm not saying they're all greatly talented, but a lot of them are. A lot of them are enormously. They just have different talents than writers. You know, a different kind of creativity.
Sure.
And they mean well. You know, they're not inherently, you know, dishonest or scuzzy people, or anything like that. But they make mistakes, and you need to learn from their mistakes. And they also, amazingly, they have long memories too.